Welcome students to today's session. In this session of today's, we will be studying about three more different methods of asexual reproduction. And the first one we are going to study is fragmentation. In this method, the body of a simple multicellular organism breaks up into smaller pieces on maturation and each fragment divides into a new individual. Example is Spirogera. Spirogera is otherwise called as pond silk. It is seen as the green thread-like structures floating on water bodies, and it multiplies very fast by this method of fragmentation. Um, there are many plants, water plants, which split and grow and fragment into new individuals. A very typical example is that of a Spirogera. The next method is spore formation. Spore formation is seen in the fungus. In this method, a structure called sporangia produces tiny cells called spores. When the spores come in contact with contact with moist surface, it develops into new individual. Now let us see how it is done in the fungus. When the fungus initially grows, it produces a thread-like structure called as mycelium, and this mycelium, you can see the cottony growth on top of the bread mold. Bread, which later on gets occupied with white cottony growth on the entire bread. Later on, this bread mold develops tiny structures called sporangium, and they harbor very small structures called spores. It is the color of the spores which gives the color to the fungal hypha later on. And these spores are released into the atmosphere. These spores are very tiny and cannot be seen with naked eye. There are millions of spores floating in the air. These spores, when they fall on new substratum or growing material, they develop and germinate and develop into new fungal hypha. So example is Rhizopus, which is bread mold, Mucor, Penicillium, etc. The next method is vegetative propagation. We are all familiar with this method of reproduction. Um, One example that is highlighted is that of bryophyllum. Bryophyllum reproduces from leaf. You can see tiny structures of plants coming out from the side margins of the leaves, which detach from the leaf and then fall into the soil to produce new bryophyllum. This is a natural method of vegetative propagation. Similarly, we have natural methods of vegetative propagation from root, stem, or leaf. Roots, you have examples, dahlia, sweet potato. In stem, you have potato, ginger. From leaf, you have bryophyllum and begonia. These are naturally vegetative propagation occurring in nature. Now, we can also have artificial methods of vegetative propagation where we can involve methods of cutting, layering, or grafting, which man introduces vegetative propagation into the plants. We can use this vegetative propagation for growing plant varieties which do not produce seeds, like example rose, jasmine, banana, etc. And we can select the best parent using the cutting, layering, or grafting. You can produce best quality uh, uh, next generation for availing better fruits, vegetables, or other products which you're looking for in the plants. So with this, we end today's session. Thank you for listening.